So, a few months back, I was out knocking back some bevies with the boys, and as one does in a situation like this, you just start ranting off obscure Wikipedia facts that you happen to know. And in my case, that is obscure Mario-related trivia that I've come across in my life. And specifically just started talking about random-ass villains that no one on the table had even heard of. And one of my mates suggested that it would make a good video, so I thought, yeah, sure, you know what, I'm preparing for Gamescom, I don't have time to spend this week working on a video. Why don't I share with you all some obscure video game baddies from the Mario series, given that we're hot off the press of that Wart video that I just put out. And obviously, Wart's, some might argue, is obscure, but I wouldn't. I think characters like Wart and Tatanga and Captain Syrup are not mainstream, but they're also not obscure either, right? Like, they're the ones that everyone's calling back for. They're the main baddies of specific games or of specific series. Those aren't the sort of obscurity we want. I'm talking about characters from Mario-related games that you might know, some of you might know, a lot of, but haven't really shown up in a while, and a lot of modern fans might not be aware of unless they're like really into the Mario fan culture. But maybe, you know, I could be a bad judge here, couldn't I? You know, what do I know? I'm just a guy who makes videos on the internet who's made a lot of Mario videos recently. So for this video, I want to list off my top 5 obscure Mario villains that I want to see again at some point. Put them back, put them in Mario Kart, do something with them. To start off, let's go with probably one of the more serious villains, although you wouldn't tell by appearance, because he's the only villain who has successfully killed Mario and his friends. I'm talking about Dementio from Super Paper Mario. Yes, he actually killed our heroes and Bowser as well, and sent them to the underwear, which is the Mario equivalent of hell, I guess. He's one of the sub-villains of Super Paper Mario before revealing himself to be the final boss of the game. Spoilers, I suppose, for a nearly 2 decades old Wii game. Dementio is, I guess, the Mario equivalent of Mephiles Tennessee from Sonic, if he was combined with Kefka from Final Fantasy. He's just this crazy clown guy who likes doing his own stuff and is willing to manipulate anyone to get away with it. He's probably one of the more serious villains on this list, one of the more serious villains Mario has ever fought. And I think because of that, a lot of people like him. Of all of the villains from Super Paper Mario, who are a good cast of villains, Dementio is probably the one who I think would be the most interesting to come back. Now, he probably doesn't fit the main Mario series particularly well, given you know, how vicious he was killing the main characters. But I think he falls in that same category that, like, Fawful from the Mario and Luigi series did, where he was a fan favourite character, and because of that he got to show up again in multiple Mario and Luigi games, eventually working his way from being sub-villain to main villain of an entire game. Speaking of Mario and Luigi, though, our next villain on this list is Princess Shrew from Mario and Luigi Partners in Time. One of the most underrated Mario and Luigi games in my opinion. Everyone raves about Bowser's Inside Story, but I'm a Partners in Time kind of guy. I don't know if that's completely sunk my credibility at all, but you know, that's what I'm sticking with my guns on that one. So Princess Shrew is effectively what a War Peach kind of should be. Like, I know we all like the War Peach concept that was shown off. She's cute, she fits in with Wario and Waluigi in that trio, but Princess Shrew is like actually an evil mushroom princess, like evil Princess Toadstool. she's got all the right colours, she's got the purple that all the Wart characters have, and she has her own equivalent of the Toads and the Shrews. I just thought as like an antagonist, she was far more interesting than both Cackletta and Forfall, and also more interesting than Fantasia, whatever his name is, from Dream Team. Like, she's probably the best, now that I'm saying this out loud, the best Mario and Luigi antagonist that we've had. And she's only appeared in the one game. She had a little cameo in Bowser's Inside Story, but she effectively died in the Partners in Time, and her older sister got brought back to be the final boss. And, you know, who cares about death in the Mario series? I mean, we just talked about Mario and friends dying to Dementio. It's kind of like Dragon Ball, right? The first time it happens, it's shocking, and then it becomes Tuesday for the cast after that point. So Princess Shrew would be a really good new recurring addition to the cast, and I think she's one that could fit in the main Mario series. When they went to space in Mario Galaxy, if they ever want to do that again, should be the Shrew planet would be a great antagonistic force to go for if they wanted to shake things up and not do Bowser for the millionth time. So yeah, Princess Shrew, she should come back. The next one is Raphael the Raven from Yoshi. Now I know we talked already about Wart coming back as a potential Yoshi antagonist in that Wart video, which I know a lot of you watched and enjoyed. Thank you very much for that. If you haven't seen that though, I would go watch that right after this one, because it's more Mario villain content and I think it's pretty good. I think I make a pretty solid argument for why Wart should come back. But anyway, if they didn't do Wart coming back in Yoshi's Island and did it instead for Captain Toad, which, another shout out actually, that was a solid idea from the comments. I could absolutely see Wart working in a Captain Toad game. If they wanted to go that direction with him instead, I think Raphael the Raven and his ravens would be a really good arch enemy for Yoshi. Like, of all of the Yoshi antagonists from that first game, Raphael had like a special presence to him. He got to show up in a few other games. He got a trophy in Melee. He got to make an appearance in the Paper Mario series, which none of the others did. Like, there was some sort of reverence they had for Raphael as the penultimate boss of big boss of Yoshi's Island, and then he's just vanished. Like, he made a cameo in Yoshi's Island, yes, and new Yoshi's Island has a big raven in it, but it's not a boss, it's not Raphael. I think having the ravens be antagonists to the Yoshi clan with Raphael as their leader, it would be, I'd like to see it. It'd be a pretty fun return for a character. You could flesh him out a bit more. He's just a big goofy bird. How can you hate that design? Come on, it's incredible. As for our next character, though, this one is probably the most obscure on this list, and that is Catsini from Wario's Woods. Now, I didn't want to mention Tatanga because I don't think he is a very obscure Mario villain, despite only showing up in 2 games. But Catsini, you know, he's clearly from the same race that Tatanga is. Like, there was some sort of effort to continue on that legacy with this random circus troupe leader character from Wario's Woods that Toad goes up against. And Wario's Woods has a whole plethora of original antagonists that never showed up again, both on the NES and SNES version. They're different characters. It's kind of fitting that puzzle game mold, your main protagonist that everyone knows and loves, and then they go up against a random batch of miscellaneous first time you'll ever and last time you'll ever see them characters, some of which might be based on the main series it's from, and then there'll be a mermaid for some reason as well. And I like the idea of Catsini coming back in, I don't know, a Captain Toad game or a new Wario's Woods game, and taking the role of main baddie from Wario over, and just bringing back all of that side of the franchise that I don't think has been seen since, what, like 1993? So, like, you can't, that's pretty obscure. I don't know how if you can go more obscure than Wario's Woods when it comes to Mario characters. Just sort of noticing now, like, this list has 2 circus-related characters and 2 alien-related characters on it already, and Raphael, you even fight him on the moon. So there's like a trend going along here with all of these characters. Like, maybe Nintendo just needs to have a circus-themed set of villains and have Catsini be the leader. And you got that one from 3D World as well. That had a very circusy vibe. You know, bring that weird one in, and Dementio back. You know, just do scary clowns can be the next Nintendo villains. Speaking of Wario and scary clowns, in fact, the last character on this list is not Rudy the Clown, who is the main antagonist of Wario Land 3, but is connected to Rudy the Clown. And that is Mad Seinstein, is a personal favourite of mine. He's got an interesting history, because his debut game isn't even a Mario game. He appeared in For the Frogs the Bells Toll, where he's known as Dr. Areo Shitai, which is like a pun. It's like you describe it as Dr. I want to do that. When he appeared in the Mario series, though, specifically in Wario Land 3, he was renamed into Mad Seinstein and given an updated look that made him an antagonist to Wario. He then later showed up again in Dr. Mario 64, which really established his connection to Rudy the Clown, where he steals the Mega Vitamins from Dr. Mario to give to Rudy the Clown to cure Rudy's cold. I'm guessing the Mushroom Kingdom health service is something like America's, where it costs an arm and a leg to do it. Sure, I guess Mario is charging a lot for his homeopathy multivitamins. So Mad Seinstein then, after Dr. Mario 64, I guess got over his brainwashing, because he shows up again in Wario Land 4 looking more like his original form. And here he's like not an ally to Wario, more like a prop to Wario. Wario kind of manhandles this old man in a way that only Wario can get away with. And, you know, I really like this guy. I mean, like, little fun factoid about me. There is you look at this guy's design, and then look at that design. Yeah, you see there's a connection going there. There's a bit of inspiration I've taken from here. I'm like a young Mad Seinstein, but without the ballsack head. But yeah, he's more of a anti-hero ally. He was a mind-controlled villain, right? And last we saw him, he wasn't a villain anymore. But I don't think that would prevent him from getting on this list. And I don't think that if they brought him back, they would have to keep him like that. I'd like to see him come back. In fact, I'd just like to see Rudy as well come back, and Captain Syrup, and other Wario Land characters. In fact, they should just make a new Wario Land game like they did with Donkey Kong Bonanza. Like, get Nintendo Tokyo on it, because they know what they're doing. Make a 3D Wario Land game that's like actually good and pulls in from the whole Wario Land series. And get Mad Seinstein back, Shokoro back, Rudy the Clown back, Captain Syrup back. Let's just get them all in here. So yeah, I guess the takeaway I think you all should have from this video is we need a new Wario Land, and like soon, Nintendo, soon.